Montreal-based renewable energy producer Boralex is expanding rapidly. Now, it plans to spend more than $400 million to buy 7 solar energy installations in the US and 3 wind farms in Quebec. Joining us now, Patrick Decostre, incoming CEO, current Chief Operating Officer at Boralex. Patrick, thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Good morning, Andy. Thank you.
You're such a big player already. Give us a broad idea, though. These latest deals. How much will they expand your production annually?
Essentially, we will integrate a net capacity of 145 megawatt of wind in Quebec. We already own 41% of this 300 megawatt site. And we will integrate the 49 others which were owned by Caisse de dépôt et placement du Québec. So it's very good because it will bring long-term cash flow to the company. And on the other side, in the US, we are making a great step into solar energy. It's the first important investment of Boralex. We have some megawatt in France, but this is completely different. Net capacity of 118 megawatt in the US. So both will bring interesting increase of the free cash flow per share for the company next year, and $0.1 for Quebec investment and $0.04 for $0.04 for the US investment. So very accretive.
Give us an idea, but your mix between wind and solar, roughly what is it going to be once these deals are settled?
Essentially, today we are 88% exposed to wind. So the increase of wind by 145 will increase the part, but solar is really small. We only own 15 megawatt in France, so less than 1% of the whole production we own. So this will bring around 7% of 6%, of the installed capacity of Boralex. As I mentioned, is just a first step into solar because we want to diversify ourselves and to increase this. This was the goal of our strategic plan that we released 1.5 years ago, and we will continue in this direction because solar is very complementary to wind. It's complementary in terms of revenue, of stability of revenue, and it's complementary in terms of seasonability of the revenue too.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, you seem to hear this more with wind. That's the weather didn't work out. The wind conditions were good for generation. Is solar less vulnerable to that?
Solar is more stable from 1 year to the other. The variation, the annual variation is different. So it's another risk profile indeed. So that's good. Wind is very good because on the long term, when you have a diversified portfolio of wind resource like we have Eastern Canada, Quebec, we have Ontario wind production, we have French wind production. So all this is a diversified portfolio, but indeed it's better to be more diversified because the portfolio effect will be there, and solar is more stable from 1 year to the other.
Why is it, though, that Boralex has in the past invested much more heavily in wind? Why did you prefer wind to solar in the past?
It was a question of time and opportunity. We start in some project in solar in France in 2010. We started the first site in 2011. It's a small 5 megawatt site. But there was a lot of more opportunities in wind at that time because the wind technology, if you go back 10 years ago, was really more economic, and the cost of production was really lower than the cost of production of solar. So the subsidized with the subsidy with solar was higher than in wind. It changed dramatically during the last years, and now they are both competitive with the market, with the price on the market, and it's really the right time, I think, to move into the solar, because it's competitive, because it's complementary, and this is exactly what we have decided to do 1 year ago. And,
now, tell us about batteries. Sorry.
No, and
Go ahead, Patrick.
We are also developing our own solar project. We have focused on our effort in New York State, where we have already win 180 megawatt of solar project in 4 projects, 120 megawatt project and 3 20 megawatt project. And in September and October, we have bid 3 other projects, 100 megawatt project and 2 20 megawatt project in 2 RFPs in New York State. So we are growing through M&A, as we announced yesterday, but we are also growing organically in solar.
Tell us, I mean, there's a lot of excitement about the improvement in battery technology and renewable power. Is there a big scope? I mean, do you often find across your portfolio that sometimes your renewable assets are generating power that there's no use for right now, and that there could be a huge case for building giant batteries to store that power?
Essentially, today, the business model is not yet there in the market where we are operating assets. The business model in France or in Quebec or Ontario for storage is not yet available, but we know that it will be an important development for the future. So we are developing skills internally to work on the technology and to work on the business model itself, because what you want at the end of the day is to make money with your investment. And we have already a 2 megawatt site in operation in France, a small site, especially to understand all the technology, the contract around storage, the way you are selling your service, because you're not selling electricity, because your electricity is the same. You are displacing electricity, or you are selling a service to the network because of the need of the electricity network to remain stable. So we are exactly doing that. And if we have opportunity, typically around the Californian market could be a place where storage could be interesting. And so we will look to this around the assets we are just buying for the moment.
Your yield is only about 1.7%, low for a utility stock, but of course you're not just a regular utility, I know. Would you plan to increase that yield? Would you hope to get up to the 4 or 5% yield for investors?
Our target is for the dividend is a payout ratio target. So it's from 40 to 60% payout ratio. That's where we want to be. And as you correctly mentioned, we are not a utility. We are a mixed company, a balanced company between stable cash flow and yield and development. The development is very important, especially now because the energy transition is accelerating everywhere in the world, and so it's the time to invest the money for development. And as you see, we have some interesting opportunity, or organic opportunity, or M&A opportunity. So we will not change our target of 40-60% of payout ratio.